My name is John. I'm a retired plumbing contractor from Ohio in the United States. And about 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic leukemia. A couple years later, I was diagnosed with a heart disease. And during this whole time, I had a chronic sinus condition, which resulted in most of my teeth being pulled. So as I went round and round with various doctors, they individually attempted to treat the symptoms as opposed to looking for a common cause to my problems. This became very frustrating because it was an endless scenario of drugs to ease pain as opposed to trying to solve the problem. Then I heard about a clinic in Perm, Russia, that took a holistic approach to health. I had heard about holistic health before, but had never knew much about it. So they asked me to send me my medical records for the last several years, which they spent much time going over. An oncologist, a cardiologist. In a very professional way, they went over my records and through emails told me that they believed they could help me. And I said, I'm all in, I'm ready to come and try it. So I came to Perm, Russia and placed myself in their hands for 2.5 weeks. The first week was spent in a very thorough diagnostic approach to my situation. They found issues with my body that I didn't even know existed, and they developed a format of how they all fit together and what a solution might be. While in this clinic, they spent the first several days in an approach that was basically cleansing of the cellular system in the body before they got the complete diagnosis and began infusions with various solutions that I'm not qualified to answer what they are. All I know is that it's working. And by taking the blood work from the very beginning when I arrived and the blood work halfway through and the blood work at the end, they were very impressed and emphatic, giving me exact numbers as to improvement. They spent much time in education showing me how all three of the problems that I had worked together to create the leukemia. And this was very interesting to me because in America, nobody took this holistic attitude and attempted to figure out what was going on. So they spent much time in education and treatment, countless hours. And at the end of the 2.5 week program, spent hours with me, educating me as to what was going on in my body and follow up and what I could expect in the future from a realistic viewpoint. And it was abundantly much more than I could ever have dreamt could have happened. So at this point, they're asking me to do follow-up blood work in America and send them the results. And at that point, they can give me future recommendations or tell me exactly where I'm at as far as my disease. Because the very first thing I was concerned with was the leukemia. And they showed me how even the heart condition and the other conditions work together to feed the leukemia. So they attacked the core issue instead of dealing with symptoms. That's the basic bottom line of what impressed me as an individual. And so the test results in the future will show exactly where I'm at. All I can tell you is right now I feel much better than I did when I arrived. A couple of the side issues that I hadn't even been thinking about was during the diagnostic part of this, I wore a heart monitor for 24 hours, and they discovered I had a sleeping problem, and that affected it as well, and they told me how to address that. One of the things that's been very frustrating to me over the years is, as I addressed earlier, I had most of my teeth pulled because of pain. Going to a neurologist and others, they simply said I had a neuralgia of the facial nerves, which there was no solution to other than pain drugs. In this condition that I've had over the years, the doctors back home kept treating it with antibiotics, and the antibiotics did not work, and we're talking almost 10 years. They did not make a link between the sinus condition and the neuralgia condition in my facial nerves, and all I knew was I had severe pain in my teeth. So one at a time, over a period of almost 8 years, I've had teeth pulled. That would take the pain away for a short period of time, then it would start again. So the thing that was accomplished here was they found out it was a fungal infection, not bacteria, that it was linked to the trigeminal neuralgia, and thus the teeth being pulled, which I've had all my teeth pulled and it was entirely unnecessary. So that's where I'm at.